Ethiopia is home to millions of people who are living without access to safe water, sanitation and hygiene wise services. It is one of the countries where the prevalence of waterborne and related diseases are very high. To alleviate this challenge in the rural areas, Government of Ethiopia has adopted 4 implementation modalities. These are government managed, NGO managed, community managed, and self-supply. Community managed, CMP for short, is the focus of this program. In CMP, community is responsible for planning, implementation, operation, and maintenance of WASH projects.
This community managed project approach is an innovative approach whereby the communities are responsible for the full development of the project, including the financial management. So they have to procure all the goods and services they need to construct their wash facilities in the rural areas.
In the implementation of CMP approach, there are processes. Every process is designed to build the implementation capacity of the community, essentially empowering community to address its needs is a core value of CMP approach.
And here the important thing is the process also, not only the result. The process will bring the sustainable results. If you don't follow up the process, the end result will not sustain. And if it does not sustain, then this poor of the poorest will suffer.
So what are these processes? How does CMP approach is implemented? In this program, a great deal of focus will be given to answering these questions. Training administrators and WASH experts at regional, zonal, and district levels in CMP management and appraisal is the first step. Trainees learn the conceptual framework and implementation detail of the approach.
So the main trainings that are offered to the regions is community managed project management training is the major one, which is given to the management bodies at all levels, regional, zonal and Woreda WASH teams. The other major training is the technical part of the CMP training, which we call it CMP Appraisal training. CMP Appraisal training is conducted after the community managed project management training is completed to the management bodies. And then using this training, the Woredas are expected to prepare or promote the communities.
The next step is promotion. In a given district or Woreda, a community who has no access to safe water supply and improved sanitation and hygiene facilities is identified. Then the district promotes CMP approach. This is to generate the interest of the community in the approach. At this point, community is briefed about the approach and the eligibility requirements.
So the main purpose of the promotion is that to make the communities aware what are the requirements to be eligible for the funding, and also to raise their awareness on the need for clean and potable water. So in the promotion, the experts will promote different issues. First, the main requirement for the CMP approach, for example, if a community is to be eligible for the financing, it should cover at least minimum of 15% of the construction cost of the project. It can be in terms of material, it can be in terms of labor, or even in cash. And the other requirement is that for the projects to be sustained, there is a need for covering operation maintenance cost, which is clearly written in our water resource management policy. So one requirement is that community should be able to cover 1 year operation maintenance cost, so that's the requirement.
The other major process is the election of the community representatives. These representatives are called Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Committee or commonly called WASHCO. In CMP Approach, at least half of the members of the committee are expected to be women. This committee undertakes all implementation activities. In general, WASHCO is responsible to contract services and procure construction goods.
WASHCOs are responsible for the implementation of the project on behalf of the community. So they, together with the other activities, they are also required to register their ledger. So they are acting as a financial person on behalf of the community. And they are recording the costs and the procurements conducted by the community together with the warder. So this is also a unique feature in CMP.
Project application and the submission is another major step in the CMP Approach implementation. WASHCO prepares and submits the application to the district CMP supervisor, who is based on the water office. The project document should show all the important information regarding the target community and the location. The next crucial step is project appraisal. There are two types of project appraisal. These are desk and field appraisals. Desk appraisal is a quick preview of the application for compliance with the CMP standards. If the application is in line with the expected standards, on that same day, the WASHCO representative shall be informed that the application is accepted and recommended for the field appraisal.
Applications coming from the community, whether it is in line with the project we financed by the project, the approach, and also the minimum community contribution requirement. So all these things from the application will be checked, and based on that, the fate of the project can be accepted for field desk appraisal, and then can be recommended for the field appraisal. Or if the application does not complete, the WASHCOs will be advised to complete the application. Or if the application is not in line with the requirements, there may be a rejection of the application. So those applications, the good thing in the CMP approach is that everything is to be communicated to the WASHCOs.
On the agreed date, field appraisal is conducted by a team of experts from water, health, and education offices. These experts are called technical WASH team. Their role is to confirm if the conditions in the application really exist on the ground, and they report their findings and the conclusions to the district WASH team.
The main purpose of the field appraisal is that to see really whether the conditions and the information put in the application, whether they exist on the ground or not. There are different criteria. For example, one criteria is the technical criteria, really whether the water point recommended by the committee, whether it's technically feasible or not. It may be underwell, or it may be a spring or other technologies, so there will be seen the technical feasibility from the point of view of the experts, and also the other one is the social sustainability, whether the WASHCOs are properly organized or not, and there is also the community contribution, and also the gender issues will be also really appraised. That means how women are involved in the planning and the discussions, that will be also assessed, and the other one is that the sustainability issue also will be appraised. In our policy, communities are expected to cover full operation maintenance of rural communities. So one of the purposes of field appraisal should be an assessment of the readiness of the community to cover that cost.
The district WASH team discusses on the report from the field appraisal team. The district WASH team can make 3 different decisions. These are approval, suspension, and rejection of the project. This team's decision shall be communicated instantly and clearly to the community. After the approval of the project, the next CMP implementation process is funding contract agreement between the district WASH team and the WASHCOs. Usually, head of the district WASH team and the chairperson of the WASHCO signs the funding agreement between the district and the community. Training the community members is another very important step in the CMP implementation processes. Here, WASHCOs are trained in procurement, financial management, operation, and maintenance. Meanwhile, at this stage, artisans are trained in construction of low-technology water supply schemes.
So the WASHCOs has to first get the training before they start any construction. The objective of the training is that the WASHCOs should be capacitated how to handle their projects, how to procure, how to record all the activities done in their project area, and how to really enter into construction agreement with local artisans. Artisans are locally trained people who are responsible for the construction of the water points. So another very important training which is conducted at the Warada level is training the artisans. Artisans are trained a minimum of 60 days in their area in the construction of small technology water supply, like hand-dug wells, how to construct hand-dug wells, how to construct springs. So these artisans are the ones who took contract with the WASHCOs in order to carry out their construction.
The WASHCOs also will open an account in the microfinance institution for receiving the investment fund to be transferred from the region to the district WASH team account and then to every WASHCO account.
At this point, undoubtedly, WASHCOs have got the capacity to implement CMP Approach. They have already opened a saving account as the regional microfinance institution. Now is the time for construction. There are a number of steps in this process. First, the sources of the fund. Currently, in CMP, there are three sources of funds. These are the donor, the recipient government, and the target community. The funds from the donor is usually used for capacity building purposes, whereas the finance from the recipient government and the target community goes to the investment of the project. Second, fund transfer. The funds for the investment of the project is channeled to CMP account at the district level. In CMP Approach, all investment funds are transferred directly to the community through microfinance institutions.
This money from the regional government is channeled from Bureau of Finance and Economic Development to the sector bureaus, and then the sector bureaus are making the agreement with the regional microfinance organization, and then they channel the money to the microfinance organization. And microfinance organizations in the regions have a very good coverage in the region. They are in every Warada, and they are also even in sub-Warada levels. So they are very close to the community. So it is very easy to then for the community to access the microfinance institution and get paid off, to access this money for the construction.
The third step in the construction process is procurement and contract, which is handled by WASHCOs. In CMP modality, the role of government is limited to technical and administrative support.
One of the beauty and the peculiar nature of CMP Approach is that procurement and contracting are handled by the water sanitation hygiene committee members represent the community. So the main purpose of the district and the government experts is that to give a technical support, so that they should apply the CMP requirements. So once they are secured that they got the fund, and they will prepare a tender document with the assistance of the district water offices, and they will follow the tender document, and they will employ artisans or contractors, and also they procure the construction materials.
The physical construction of water supply scheme is handled mainly by the artisans who are contracted by WASHCOS. Artisans work with the community. The contribution of the community is mainly in labor and the provision of locally available materials. During the construction, WASHCOs are in charge of organizing the community and mobilizing the resources. Similarly, WASHCOs, in collaboration with district water experts, monitor and ensure the construction quality.
አርተዚያንና ያው ኮሚቴዎች ናቸው። ማህበረሰቡን በዚህ መካከል ላይ ያው ከዚሁ አብሮ አለ ጎን ለጎን ይገኛል እና እነዚህ አርተዚያኖቹ ሪንጉን እያመረቱ ነው ያሉት። ሪንግ የማምረት ስራ ደግሞ ለመስራት ያው ይሄ የሚታው ሁሉም ቀጥተኛ አሸዋና ጠጠሩን ሲሚንቶውን ያዋሃዱና አሁን ይገኙ። በዚህ መካከል ላይ ለሚፈለገው ነገር ሁሉ ደግሞ ለሚሰራው ስራ ማህበረሰቡ ከጎናቸው ሆኖ ጧት ማታ እየተንቀሳቀሰ ይገኛል።
ዘቦላ ያው ዝራው ብለን ጅና ኮንታይዝ ነው የምንሰራው። እነሳቸው ሻውም እነሳቸው ነው እንትና አርማታም ሲፖካ እነሳቸው ያከዙናል። ማተሪያም ያው ከነሳቸው ናቸው። ምግብ ራሱ ከህብረተሰቡ ነው የምንመገበው።
Inauguration is one of the major processes in the implementation of CMP Approach. When the construction of a water supply scheme is completed, community, along with the invited guests, conduct an inauguration ceremony to mark the official opening of the service. At this completion ceremony, WASHCOs report the financial and physical performance of the project. It is also a forum where community discusses on the operation and the maintenance of their water point. The last process in CMP Approach is post-implementation monitoring. This process has two major purposes. First, post-implementation monitoring could be used to inform the current status of the project. Based on the findings, if there is a need, it recommends appropriate measures. Secondly, it generates lessons which are important in developing the approach. Post-implementation monitoring should be done twice a year. This activity is the responsibility of the respective districts and user community. CMP Approach has different unique features. For example, in CMP, operation and maintenance is one of the important features that gets attention at the very beginning of the project.
In the CMP approach, operation maintenance activities are not something which is coming in the middle or at the end of the project. An operation maintenance activity is one of the tools to ensure the success of the project, so it should come from the very start. It should have from the planning, because for one thing, there is a need for mindset of the community. They should really think that the responsibility lies on them. And other one, there is a need for financial readiness. That means they have to be ready to cover the operation maintenance cost. There's the other one that their capacity has to be built also.
In the implementation of community-managed project approach, there is no handover of the projects to the communities. They are already the owners of the project from the very beginning. This is also one of the unique features of CMP.
And this makes CMP or COWASH different from the other implementation approach, where there is total handover of the outputs to the community and maintaining the water points on behalf of the community. Therefore, this entire process makes CMP different from the other implementation approach, whereby sustainability will not be a problem in CMP because the community is participating from the starting to the end.
And I can tell you from long experience already in Ethiopia that those Woredas who have been implementing the CMP approach would not like to change back to another approach anymore, because they know already really the benefits of it. If you go to the communities to visit the CMP the projects there and talk to the communities, everybody will appreciate this is the right way to do.
Community managed project approach was first developed in Amara region in 2003. Because of the impressive results, CMP approach was adopted by Benishangul Gumuz region in 2008. Then in 2011, the approach was scaled up to the national level. It was replicated in Tigray, Oromia, and southern nations, nationalities, and people's regional states. Currently, CMP is implemented in 76 districts of 5 regions. As of today, more than 4 million people have got access to safe water supply using the community managed project approach.